Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Crystal and this is my social thread. So it's that time of the month again. I have received my Little Miss So-and-so All Set to Sew So Luxurious box. That is a mouthful to pronounce. I received it a couple of days early this month. I'm not sure why. They're probably just on schedule. And I'm going to open it live with you today. Actually, I did open the box already because I was just so excited and I thought I would open it and then just share with you the contents rather than opening it live. But then when I opened the box and it's beautifully wrapped as usual, I just couldn't get myself to do it without vlogging it first. So here you go, I am opening it with you live. So this is the All Set to Sew So Luxurious kit. As you know, I'm a brand ambassador for Little Miss So-and-so, and I received this subscription box free of charge in return for an honest review on the box and the fabrics and the pattern as such. So this box here, as I say, is So Luxurious. It is, I can't remember now, £65 a month, including postage and packaging. You get with the box a choice of patterns and a choice of fabric as well, as this is the So Luxurious kit. My choices of patterns are the same as the So Special kits, but the choice of fabric is from their designer range, including Lady McElroy, Art Gallery Fabrics, Atelier Brunette, Dashwood Studios, that sort of thing. So it's really, really lovely. You get about 3 to 3.5 meters depending on the pattern. You get the pattern, the notions, a lovely gift as well, and the A0 printout if that is the way they've formatted the pattern for that particular box. So I'm going to open this one with you today. Beautifully packaged as always, and this box is pretty hefty today. It's quite a heavy box. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do, I normally show you the process of myself choosing the pattern and the fabric, but unfortunately I forgot to record that when I chose my fabric and pattern last time, so I won't have that for you this time, but I will explain to you everything that I did. Anyway, so basically every month you get an email and that directs you to the Little Miss So-and-so website, where you get to choose a pattern, a woven or a knit pattern. And then once you've chosen that, you then get to choose between their luxurious knit fabrics or their luxurious woven fabrics. So this time round, I went for the... they don't have, so they've given me, instead of the paper pattern, sometimes they give you the paper pattern, and other times it's the A0 file and the instructions to download the PDF file for the instructions. So this time round, I chose the Wardrobe by Me, the Comey jacket. And I'll pop up a picture of it here because I don't have it to hand. And it's basically, I don't actually... it's basically a lovely lightweight jacket for the cooler weather. It's a wrap, secured with a belt. It's got deep pockets, and the sleeves are generously cut with drop shoulders and a cuff at the hem. It's an unlined jacket, making it an ideal transitional piece or cozy cardigan. Slightly oversized. And as they've said here, it's got a lovely note here saying they are trying to reduce their paper waste or usage. And so there's a QR code for me to print out the instructions for that. And the choices of fabrics were some lovely cozy knits. There were some art gallery fabrics as well, but they were just slightly too, the print I wasn't keen on the print as such, so I wanted to go for a plain, because this sort of cardigan I was thinking for the cooler months, just to be able to put it on with lots of different outfits, and it'd be more versatile if it was in a plain. And I decided to go for, actually it's really, really beautiful. It's slightly lighter than I thought. So I love sort of the old pink, dusky rose kind of colourway. So pinks in general. And I thought this was going to be slightly darker, but it is beautiful. It's like a blush pink, but it has a sheen to it. And it's a Lady McElroy Ponte, I believe, just from memory. And I think, because it's so heavy and so thick, I think I have 3.5 meters of this, but I will measure this for you if I can get a measuring tape. Bear with me. Measuring tape. So it's a lovely heavyweight. Well, it feels very heavy as it's folded up, but I'll take it out for you now. It is really, really lovely. So it's I believe it's a Ponte. It must be because it's quite a thick. It's very thick. It's got a lovely sheen to it. Really good recovery. Really lovely stretch, and it is beautifully drapey as well, which would be perfect for this pattern. I can measure. I think I do have 3.5 meters. There's absolutely loads here. So the reason I'm measuring it is because before I used to get 3.5 meters of the luxury fabric all the time, but then we got a message, I think a couple of months ago, saying that because all the prices of things have gone up, from fabric to everything basically has gone up in the world, hasn't it? Food, petrol, everything. And so they were just rejigging things with their subscription boxes, because as you know, as I say, it's £65 a month for the box, and the fabric alone is more than that. So you're actually getting, you know, so much of good value for your money. And so I think they've decided that where a pattern, the biggest size of a pattern, can be made in less than 3.5 meters of fabric, they will only give you that amount of fabric to make the largest size of the pattern, which is fair enough because that's all you need really. So I'm just measuring this quickly. So we have 150 there, so it's 1.5 meters. It's very weighty. I don't want to stretch it out, but 1.5 meters. Yep, that's 3 meters. So yeah, it's definitely 3.5 meters here. Yep, 3 meters and 65. 3 meters and 65 centimeters, so that's great. A bit more than 3.5 meters, and just look how lovely and stretchy that is. The weight, the sheen. It's actually I don't know, maybe is it the lighting, but it actually looks quite dressy. Like I would have considered this garment to be more of a casual garment, but I think I mean, it would still be casual, but it's slightly a bit more put together, like you've made a bit of an effort with what you're wearing, and that would look quite nicely thrown on several different versatile outfits. And I'm looking forward to making that up. You also get the notions. So for this particular pattern, there's no buttons or zips or fastening, so you get the A0 printout, which is nice. You get the matching coordinating thread, 100 meters of gutterment. It's a lovely baby pink color. And you get some woven interfacing. Is it woven or would it be stretch? Yep. Stretch interfacing. And I quite like this brand. I can't pronounce the name. Let me see if I can pronounce it properly. It's the Vlizeline brand, and it's really lovely because it's actually like fabric as opposed to the interfacing that feels more like paper. I find that tends to rip a lot more and perhaps just seems a bit less expensive and just not as nice. It has a crisp kind of texture when you attach it to fabric, but this is lovely because it is like fabric in itself, and you get them in a woven and a stretch, which is great. And the gift for this month is a lovely bulky seam made from Hemline. I already have one of these, but I have misplaced them, so they're really great for going over bulky seams like denim seams, for example. It just helps you if you put it in front at the back of your presser foot. Is it at the back? Or the front of your presser foot, so that your presser foot doesn't skip a stitch as you're trying to put your thick garment underneath the presser foot to sew. So it's a bulky seam aid. Thank you very much. And also, what was I going to say? So now that I've opened that box, so that's for August. I get confused. No, that's for July. And I'm now going to show you, that's for August, I'm now going to show you July's garment. So last month's garment was a choice between the Sophia dress from Sew Over It and a t-shirt, the Laurie pleated tee from Named Clothing. The Sophia dress is a lovely dress. It's strapless, and I think it's got like a tie at the back, but it just wasn't, I just had to hack it. I was going to have to hack it quite a bit in order for it to be suitable for myself, especially because I'm a breastfeeding mother as well. I needed breastfeeding access, that sort of thing. And I'm not so keen on having sort of my back open because of my various lumps and bumps. So anyway, I decided to go for the Named Clothing pleated tee. I have made Named Clothing patterns before. And from what I remember, they were quite good. And also with this pleated tee, it was just slightly different. I'll pop up a photo up here. I don't have a photo to hand because, again, the instructions were a PDF link, and I just read the instructions on my phone, and then the A0 printout was provided for me. So I literally just read it on my phone rather than print it out. But I'll pop up a picture, as I say. It's a basic t-shirt, but it has the lovely, beautiful pleats at the front, which I quite liked the idea of, especially in the white version, which I'll pop up here. I think it looks really, really lovely. So this time round, because the t-shirt I think only requires 1.5 meters of fabric, and because I am a So Luxurious customer, somebody from Little Miss So and So did contact me to say, you've chosen your fabric, please choose another piece of fabric so that I can do 2 separate t-shirts. And I assumed I would get 1.5 of one fabric and 1.5 of the other fabric, or something similar to that. So I went for Art Gallery prints. The first one is a corally pink floral from Art Gallery, and then the second one was a teal green background with leopards on it. And to my surprise, I actually got 3.5 meters still of the first fabric, the coral pink Art Gallery, and then I think 1.5 meters. I didn't actually measure the teal one, 1.5 meters of the other one. So I got loads of fabric, in fact, and I'll show you my versions here. So the very first one I made, I just went for the straight t-shirt option. Let me see if I've made notes. I should have made notes. Hopefully I should have made notes. So the straight t-shirt option. No, and I have not made notes. And basically it's a lovely, just a neckband. It's just hemmed sleeves, hemmed bottom, and it's quite a loose fitting t-shirt with the pleats, as I say. And so my first version is here. It's this one here. So this is the Art Gallery teal background with the leopards. And as you can see, the pleats are there. You've got one across the chest, and then 3 more as you go down the bodice. And the back is plain. And I've put a label in there that says, well, I do love spots, just in my stash. And I'll pop up a picture of myself wearing it. The t-shirt was actually very easy to make. The only difficult, well, it wasn't difficult, the only kind of finicky part was lining up the pleats and sewing that down. But that went down quite well because I had pinned it and marked it with a erasable pen, and that was, you know, that was quite easy to just sew down. And then when I went to, I guess I kind of use this as my toile, and the sizing was actually quite generous because first of all there was a lot of ease, second of all it's a loose fit anyway. So what I ended up doing is I went for the size 14 at the bust, and the size, so I went for the size 14 overall because I was going for my bust. I was basing it on my bust measurements, which is a size 14. But then when I'd made it, it was so big, I just didn't feel comfortable in it at all. So what I ended up doing was actually taking it in a lot. I don't know if you can see that, just the shape at the waist here. So over here, I ended up just feeding it through my overlocker and just shaving off, gosh, a good 2 inches on each side. So then when I went for my second version, with the other fabric that was provided, I then went to the actual pattern piece and I cut out, I think I went for a size 12 at the bust and then an 8 at the waist, which I'm not an 8 at all. But I think, as I say, because of the ease in the pattern and also because of the loose fitted nature of the pattern, I needed to go down quite a lot. And that gave me more shape at the waist, which I'm more happy with clothes that... just the style of clothes that I like, because I find I'm not the slimmest of people, and with loose fitting t-shirts or tops I just find it makes me look bigger. So I just wanted to be a bit more fitted at the waist. So that's that version there. And the second version, as I say, because I got 3.5 meters of that, I was thinking I could make another t-shirt, or I could go for a dress, a t-shirt dress. So for those of you that follow me, you will know that I love the Tilly and the Buttons Tabitha t-shirt dress, and it's a similar shape actually, but it's just got a drawstring at the waist. And what I decided to do was extend the Laurie pleated tee all the way down to below the knee, and I replicated the rest of the pleats to the front of the dress and also to the back of the dress. And now that it sounds easy, but it was actually quite difficult to try and get these pleats to match at the side, and also the pattern piece itself. The pleats aren't equally spaced apart, which I will show you. I'm not sure if it says it. Actually, this one looks quite equal, but where I don't know what's happened. Where I've extended it, I'll show you my next version anyway. So this is the next version that I made, and this is the coral floral arts gallery fabric, as I was talking about. And as you can see, it's exactly the same at the top. You've got the pleats at the front. Sorry, it's not really been ironed. It's been washed and worn a couple of times already. And I've basically just extended it all the way to make a dress version. And I've had to take it in, as I say, at the waist. And likewise, I've replicated the pleats at the back as well. And so I just found that I can show you maybe here. You can see it from here. So the pleats aren't equally spaced apart. So this pleat and this pleat, they're all equal from the top to this side. But then once you get to the next one, there's a smaller gap there, as you can see. But I think from far away when you're wearing it, because the pattern's so busy, you just don't notice it, which is fine. The only other thing that I did, which I found actually, I'm quite proud of myself actually, I added an invisible zip for breastfeeding access. Now initially, so my chest or my breast is sort of this is the apex here. So I was going to add the invisible zip in this pleat, so it would be perfect access for breastfeeding. However, I mistakenly added it to here, to the waist, which I will show you. Sorry, I've got the hanger between my neck, so I can't really talk properly, but you can see here, invisible zip for breastfeeding access. It's still usable, but it does hit my waist. So when I sit down, I do have to pull up this bit quite a bit higher than expected, but it works well. And I was thinking of taking it out and putting it into the proper pleat it was supposed to go in, but I thought that was a lot of work and you can't see it anyway. So the actual invisible zip is quite invisible under there, and the pleat obviously goes over it quite nicely. So if I do have time, I mean, I'm very strapped for time at the moment with a baby, but I would really love to revisit this pattern and put the invisible zip on the second pleat rather than the third pleat. Also, the back of the dress was quite loose, so what I ended up doing was just putting a couple of rows of shearing at the back, just to bring it in at the back a bit, and it doesn't look the best. So you can see this pleat here has got a couple of shearing lines of sheared elastic just to bring in the waist, because it was just quite baggy at the back. And I think with the Tilly and the buttons tab of the t-shirt dress, there's a drawstring, and that pulls you in a bit, and then the top of the t-shirt dress kind of is like a bit blousy, so that extra fabric in the back looks nice. This one, for example, however, didn't look nice, and so I ended up having to put that elastic. Anyhow, I'll pop up some photos of myself wearing it. And yeah, so the pattern pieces here, I've literally chopped and changed and redrafted and all sorts. So I really want to revisit it with some, when I've got enough time, and actually not redraft the pattern, but kind of redraw it on a new piece of paper as a dress version with the invisible zip insertion. And also what I decided to do with the t-shirt, I needed to extend it by, I think it was 16 inches to go from a t-shirt length to a below the knee length. But so I added that to the front and back pieces. But what I failed to realize, obviously, is because I've got the pleats, that decreases the amount of fabric there is. So then I ended up, I'll show you, I ended up with a very, very short dress. So then I was like, oh no, what should I do? Should I just give up? But luckily, there you go, I was able to, so the dress ended, where did it end? That dress ended here, and you can see where I've added another piece of fabric to extend the dress because of the pleats. And luckily, the join of that fabric fits perfectly on the seam of that pleat, so you can't actually see it. So that was very coincidental. But yeah, it's a t-shirt dress with pleats, but actually there was a lot of work that went into it. But as I say, I would like to revisit this again and just get a properly drafted pattern that I can just cut out simply and just, do without having to adjust here and there. But that's that one. Sorry, I think I've babbled on quite a lot. So that's for so that's the unboxing and the garment reveal for Little Miss So and So. I have shared photos of these garments on Instagram as well, and I will share a link below to the website Little Miss So and So. They also do at the moment they're doing a summer sale. I think you get 20% off. I think the whole website, in fact. But as a subscriber or as a customer, as a subscriber, sorry, to any of their boxes, you are entitled to 10% off their website at any point, as long as you're a member, which is really, really great. And also now and again, they do their all set to sew kits at a discounted price, which is really, really great. As I say, everything you need for that project, all in one box, which is really lovely. So that's that. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I will see you again next time. Take care. Bye bye. God bless.